Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. It is 2nd of January and let me once again wish you a happy new year. Happy 2024. Hopefully this year all your dreams may come true, but also the dreams of Juventus, of us Juventini. Hopefully we can go in 2024 in lifting a trophy again. A trophy that we are missing now since too long, and that's not something that we are used to. But today we are also celebrating something else that is important. We are celebrating 4 years of GJustjuve, the channel. Why? Because 4 years ago I decided to upload my very first video, joking. It was a joke, it was a challenge for myself, and I believe, looking back, that is probably one of the best decisions I ever made. Yesterday I uploaded a video, and thanks for all your fantastic, beautiful comments where I told you that I really want to go and trying to become a full-time content creator. Well, what a decision, what a moment. 4 years where we shared so many fantastic, beautiful moments. Thank you to every single one of you that during these 4 years showed me so many support. With views, with likes, subscribing, becoming a member. You are just fantastic. Thank you. But we have no time to celebrate too much and 2024 and the 4 years of the channel. Why? Because we are already playing on Thursday. So we'll speak about the Coppa Italia game. We'll speak about the importance of the month of January 2024 for Juventus, because I discovered something that I didn't see on the papers, the journalists, probably they didn't even notice yet, but it can be so important and vital for Juve, especially on a mental point of view. So pay attention for what I will tell you. We'll speak about Joseph Nonge, about Kenan Yildiz and a possible change of formation from Max Allegri. L'idea di Allegri. We'll speak about Mercato, and then 2024 towards the end of the video, the importance of what is on schedule for 2024. And we're not really speaking about on the field, but off the field for Juventus, what is already planned. So remain on the channel, put a maximum of likes, subscribe to the channel, because it could be an interesting video. We start immediately with January, where we see that we have 5 games planned, twice against Salernitana, Sassuolo, Lecce, Empoli. 4 times in Serie A, 1 time at least in Coppa Italia. What we don't see here on that schedule is that on the 11th, if we win against Salernitana this week on Thursday, well, we have 1 game more against Frosinone. So 5 games that can potentially become 6, 4 of Serie A, 1 possibly 2 of Coppa Italia. On paper, when we are looking at the names of the team, Salernitana, Sassuolo, Lecce, Empoli, well, we should go with the all-in, and in Coppa Italia and in Serie A. But pay attention, because we know how difficult it is, especially if we see that in January we'll play against a Sassuolo that at the moment, after 18 match days in Serie A, is the only team that was able to beat an Inter and Juve. So, you know, it's easy on paper. In reality, it's something really difficult, especially because we will play, if we win against Salernitana, well, nearly twice a week, something that Juventus at the moment is not really used to if we're looking at the last weeks, and we don't have that much of a bench, so really the difficulties are around the corner. But what is the psychological advantage benefit of that month of January? That Juventus will play 5, possibly 6 games, while Inter, they will play 4, possible 5 games, with only 3 games in Serie A, because in the meanwhile they will go to Saudi Arabia to participate to the Supercoppa, playing against Lazio. If they win, they will go to the final between Napoli and Fiorentina, I believe. So the important thing is that if Inter, they win their 3 games in Serie A against Verona, Monza, Fiorentina, well, they could have 9 points more. While Juventus, if they win the 4 games in Serie A, they can have 12, which means that we can go potentially at a plus 1 of Inter with 1 game more. But that means that virtually Inter will chase Juve for the very first time. They will recuperate match day 21 when the last day of February, on the 28th of February against Atalanta, which is an important one. So you see, psychologically, January can be so important and decisive in that run towards something that at the moment we are not mentioning on the channel. So pay attention. Now, Coppa Italia on Thursday, a lot of rotations. Well, I made my predicted lineup, looking a bit about what the rumors are saying, but I think that that can be 90% the one that we will see. Perin in the goal, that's a fact. 3-man defense, 5-man in the midfield, 2 on top. Huijsen, Rugani and Gatti. Why? Because Danilo needs some rest. Huijsen he will go to Frosinone on loan, but we need some rotation there, especially with Alexandro that is out for 10 days, 8 days, we don't know. We don't have a lot of men. Huijsen could be awarded his fantastic, beautiful part of the first season, not on the field with the games, but at least what he showed, maturity, etc., in training session. So Huijsen, Rugani, Gatti could possibly be the 3 men there in defense. Ealing Jr. could see his debut, letting Kostic rest for the game of Salernitana in Serie A. Cambiaso, that didn't play the last game, he's in form, he can start on the right side. And then a midfield with Locatelli. Why Locatelli? Because we know it. He is suspended, he will not play in Serie A against Salernitana. Miretti will have another chance, and who knows, maybe Joseph Nonge. With on top more minutes, maybe the third game consecutive from the start for Kenan Yildiz that can potentially play with Milik. We know that Moise Kean is still not there, resting Dusan Vlahovic and Federico Chiesa. So speaking about Nonge, why did I put him immediately from the start, not from the bench? It's because out of nowhere, after the game 1 against Roma, Max Allegri, he spoke himself about Joseph Nonge. Nobody asked him the question. He said, pay attention because it could soon be the moment of Joseph Nonge. What else did he say about Joseph? He said, look, if this guy is able to put his head seriously, to mature, to become a serious player, well, he can become an important player. And it's a sentence, he's totally correct. You know it? 18 months ago, some people were asking me, Beppe, can you tell us a bit about the future, about the youth sector? And I made you a podium before they were going to next gen, before they were going to the first team, to the tournée, etc. I told you, first, I put Huijsen. Secondly, I put you Nonge. Third, I put you Kenan Yildiz. That was my podium in that order. We are all falling in love with Kenan Yildiz. What a fantastic player. And at the moment as we speak, he's the one that received most chances in this Juventus. He's the one that is impressing all of us the most. Huijsen, when he entered against Milan in San Siro, did really well, but he will be loaned out because there is not a lot of time and space for rotation. And then you have that Joseph Nonge that could possibly have a big chance. Oh, I tell you, I anticipate, and maybe I will flop, and maybe in 1 year people will mock me for what I will tell you, but you are not ready for Joseph Nonge. You are not ready for Joseph Nonge. The world is not ready for Joseph Nonge. The guy is fantastic. A lot of people will compare him to Paul Pogba, and it's true, he has some Paul Pogba in his legs, but I go with what Paolo Montero said about him a few months ago, a few years ago. He said, this guy, I already showed him a lot of tapes, videos about Edgar Davids, because he can become the new Edgar Davids. And when it's Paolo Montero that is telling, it's Paolo Montero that played with Edgar Davids, the famous number 26 of Juve, the pitbull of Juve, well, I believe him. Also because I watch a lot of his games. The Belgian 18 years old talent is fantastic. He's able to recuperate ball, being a defensive midfielder, but also the one that is able to give from the moment that he recuperates that ball, that technique, these skills in short spaces. He has a vision that is incredible. You will go crazy when you will see his no-look passes, something that he has, a skill that he has. These no-look passes, you will go totally crazy. So pay attention for him. But of course, here, because the rumors are saying that when he was with the under-19 and also with the next gen, well, he arrived a few times late to training session. A few times he has always also been punished, was not able to participate. This is what Tuttosport is telling us and other sources. So he needs here to grow up, and if he's able to do it, and that's why it's not a coincidence that Allegri said it. He's ready, he's fantastic, but he needs to be here also ready, because that's also important for a player. Then we can see fantastic things. It's not the only player that can make his debut, but because there is also Kenan Yildiz that can play for his third consecutive time as a starter. 3-5-2 is the starting lineup that we see without Kenan Yildiz at the moment. If we are looking towards the starting lineup, that is actually the most starting one, with Szczesny in the goal, Danilo, Bremer, Gatti, Kostic on the left, Cambiaso or Weah on the right side, more Cambiaso after what he showed us, Rabiot, Locatelli, McKennie, Chiesa, Vlahovic. But Kenan Yildiz is impressing Max Allegri that much that he's really thinking he's that extra tool, that extra weapon, that extra thread that I need to find space to let him play. And we saw it yesterday again in training session. He was playing fantastically well. He was doing fantastic, beautiful skills. Well, what can be the alternative to let him play? Not in all the games, but in some games. In a 4-3-3. going with Kostic lower, Danilo on the right side, Bremer, Gatti. Why Danilo and not Cambiaso? Because when we are moving, because you know it, the numbers are starting numbers, but during the game, possession, non-possession, it change. Well, Danilo, Gatti, Bremer can become again a three-man defense with Kostic going up, wider McKennie, and then you can play that 4-3-3, that change, you know. Or you have a Gatti that can be the one that is going up with Bremer a bit more centrally, Locatelli dropping down with Danilo, like we saw, for example, against Roma. But that means that we have the advantage to play with one extra offensive player that is Kenan Yildiz, next to Chiesa and Dusan Vlahovic. Another alternative for some games, it's to remain with that three-man defense, three in defense, Danilo, Bremer, Gatti, Kostic on the left, Cambiaso on the right side, Rabiot, Locatelli, double pivot with up front 3-4-2-1 with Yildiz, Chiesa and Dusan Vlahovic. So Max is already thinking two alternatives. Why? Because we see it on the papers. La Gazzetta dello Sport, colpo di testa. At Inter, they are really looking for new players, and looks like they already secured the right winger, Buchanan, the Canadian player that could go there. Well, Juventus looks like at the moment, they don't want to go and invest on a new player. Juve, a posto così. We are okay with the team that we have. I already told you, Max Allegri found that much of a harmony, a unity in the team, that he doesn't want toxicity to arrive with some players that are expecting to play or not able immediately to increase the level of midfield that we have at the moment. So he's saying, if we don't have the player that we want, you know what? Let's find more space for Kenan Yildiz. And I'm curious to know what you think about that. Let me know in the comment. He's thinking. If we don't go for a top player in the midfield, but really a top player, then we don't go. I'm not convinced about Calvin Phillips. I'm not convinced about Højbjerg. Koopmeiners is impossible. I'm telling you the ideas of Allegri, which I totally agree with. So why do we have to go and spend on players that will not really change Juventus if we already have some talents? Who knows, maybe Nonge, if he plays on Thursday, that can have an immediate impact, that can show that he also deserves to have some playing time. Who knows, it can change the destiny of Juve. And it's true that we already spoke about Koopmeiners that is not available for January, but also another target that we had in mind will not be available for Juve. Not in January, not in the summer. We are speaking about Samardzic, like Corriere dello Sport is saying, subito, immediately, in January, Buchanan to Inter, Samardzic to Napoli, with an offer of 20-25 million euro to the Partenopei, and the father of the Serbian player will go to Italy to will discuss with the team. It could be that it will happen already really soon. So no top player, then we don't invest. If there is still Mercato, probably yes, or we will try for what player? Well, Giuntoli really wants to go for Sudakov. Sudakov from Shakhtar Donetsk, that is a fantastic, beautiful player. He could possibly increase the level of this Juventus immediately. That's the dream that we have. But we can't go immediately. We will need also to cash out and cash in, so selling some players before signing new players. And we know it, and we will read it, Ealing Jr. could be the player if there are some offers. And I heard some rumors that the first official offer for Ealing Jr. arrived. What will happen with Sule? Will he already be sold in January? Will a deal be agreed already in January to let him go in the summer? We don't know, but if we are able to take a bit of money, Juventus could possibly go for a top player that is a Sudakov. On the other side, if we are able to do nothing, if we want just to increase the number of players, I can tell you that you don't have to forget that there is a player that is getting closer and closer and closer and closer to Juventus, sending signs and signs. I want to become again a Juve player for 6 months. And it's Bernardeschi that had the party of 2023-2024 with Juventus. He was there with Juventus players, not with Juventus as a corporate, but with Juventus players like Dusan Vlahovic, like Federico Chiesa. He was there. Of course, he knows them from his time at Fiorentina. He's at the moment in Torino, but it's not the first time. We saw him also. We spotted him with some pictures while I was speaking about Vlahovic. He's already preparing his entry again with Juve. I don't know, but it can be a possibility. So pay attention. For 6 months, having a player more that will not be a starter if we are not able to go for any other player. Pay attention. On the other side, yesterday, Dusan Vlahovic, well, he presented us his new girlfriend. We are all happy for him. Congratulations. If she is the reason why he performed like that against Roma, grande. thank you to the girl, to the lucky girl. I'm super happy for her, and I'm super happy especially for Dusan Vlahovic. Anyway, we go to the last part of the video where I told you that I wanted to speak about the objective for 2024 of Juventus. We have 6 that will play in January. The first one is that in 2024 Juventus, except of a U-turn, should have a new sponsor on the shirts in 2024. Juventus wants to go fast with Calvo that is taking care of it. They want in max 2 months to already find a deal that should bring Juventus. They are aiming for a 50 million euro. That's what they want per season. The sponsor we don't know yet at the moment, but looks like Juventus is already in contact with big ones from Saudi Arabia, but also from USA. Who will it be? I have no idea, but Juventus is really active on finding a new sponsor to replace Jeep. That's one. The future of Allegri will be decided in 2024. He's secured on the bench until the end of the season, whatever happens. So there will not be a change this season while we are running. But at the end of the season, there can possibly be or a confirmation or we change coach. And the first one that we'll have to decide will be Max Allegri. If he wins, he can even say, I go, I leave. My job here is done. And now it's to the next one to continue. Or maybe not winning and saying, I can't do it and I will change. We don't know. But Max Allegri will be a fundamental actor to decide his future. And of course, the club also. What is the vision for the future? What they want to do, etc., etc. So the future of Max Allegri will be decided this year. Another one, a trial in Roma about plusvalenza, about all these things that we spoke about, that Juventus has been already penalized with 10 points deduction, not participating to the cups. Well, why am I saying that that process will be played in 2024? Because the penal part will be decided, especially targeting an Arrivabene, an Agnelli, and these men, while Juventus on a sporting side, they will risk 0. So don't worry when you will see these big titles. Don't worry for Juventus, because Juventus found a plea deal and that's already closed. So I really wanted to put my hands there and explaining you, don't worry. Another trial that will be played, and that's the 4th point, is the one of Giraudo. That was part of the La Triade with Bettega and Moggi. You know, in 2006, Juventus has been banned from Serie A, sent it relegated in Serie B. Well, this year also, there will be a trial of Giraudo that is quite strong on the case. And he really want to explain that there was no respect of the rules of fair trial. If Juventus, if Giraudo wins that process, will it change something on the Calciopoli affair? Will Juventus really receive back their title, you know, that the Inter received? No, it will change 0 and nothing. But on the other side, it can create really a big new strategy for the future trials that will not be anymore like we saw now this year, again, being judged only by the sporting side really fast without the accusation part that had the possibility to defend themselves. So that's an important one. And then then 2 points. Chiellini will be decided in 2024. Will there be a comeback of Chiellini in the management? Yes or no? And in what role will Chiellini come back? At the moment, parts look positive. There is an opening, but nothing is secured yet. So pay attention to Chiellini coming back. And the last point is the future, the babies, a Yildiz, a Huijsen. Well, that can be their year. Starting immediately already with Yildiz. We already spoke a lot about it. Huijsen, after his experience on loan to Frosinone, coming back and being a starter, because even if Alexandro would love to stay longer at Juve, they will probably not extend him. That's what I think, that's what I hope. There could be a big chance for Huijsen after his maturity, the cycle that has finished. And then there are a lot of players that are knocking at the door, like for example a Joseph Nonge that we can possibly admire in Coppa Italia against Salernitana. That was it for me for the video. I hope you enjoy it. Grazie, forza, Juve.